All right. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us today for our August summer visit day. I'd like to welcome all of you. My name is Jeremy Johnson. I'm one of the admissions counselors here, and we're going to be going over several items today. And I'm going to go right to the agenda just so you can see what we're going to be covering. Today, we're going to have you hear from President Kelleher, and then we will talk academics with Professor Tim. Bobby Sullivan in our career development office will discuss the career development, obviously. We also have a couple students that will be joining us and hopefully being able to answer a couple of your questions that you have, especially from a student perspective. At the end, I'll talk just admissions, kind of wrap it up a little bit, talk applications, some financial aid, and obviously answer any questions that you may have. So let's get started and go right to the first agenda item, and I'm going to welcome President Kelleher. President?
Thank you. Good morning. Deciding on where you're going to college, it's a big decision, and we couldn't be more excited that you're considering Simpson. The college experience is about taking chances, making new friends, and being part of a community. It's also about challenges and acquiring the knowledge and skills that'll prepare you to take advantage of a lifetime of opportunities. If you want to be in a town where you can walk to stores and restaurants, but be close to a big city, if you want to be somewhere where students are actively involved in things like sports, theater, music, debate, or maybe Greek life, and at a place that values diversity, equity, and inclusion, and if you want to be at a college where faculty, staff, and the president know your name, and if you want to be at a college with small classes and individualized attention, including the ability to do research with faculty, then Simpson College is for you. Simpson College is all of these things and more. Simpson's a place where students are engaged, smart, and motivated. They like to have fun, and they care about each other and the college. We hope to see you on campus soon so you can see what a special community we have and all the ways we'd be committed to your success. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the Simpson experience. And I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thank you. And next we're going to hear from our department chair in the teacher education department, Professor Chad Tim. Professor?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chad Tim. I am, as you heard, the chair of the teacher education department, and my responsibility for the next 10 minutes or so is to talk to you about Simpson College from the perspective of a faculty member. But I bring a kind of a unique perspective to this conversation because I'm not only a professor at Simpson, but I'm a Simpson graduate myself. My wife is a Simpson graduate, and the oldest of our 4 children graduated from Simpson in May of 2019. And so I will be talking to you today from the perspective of someone who teaches at Simpson, but also someone who graduated from Simpson and who watched their son navigate the Simpson experience and ultimately succeed, and is currently gainfully employed, which I'm thrilled about. So when you're thinking about picking a college, and I know President Kelleher referred to some of the topics that I'm going to discuss with you in the next 10 minutes, choosing a college is an incredibly important decision. It can be an exciting process to engage in, and it also can be confusing because you hear a lot of the same things from similar institutions. So what I'm going to focus on here today is what makes Simpson different, what makes Simpson unique, and what I believe, what do we do that makes us frankly better from a faculty perspective. And typically when I talk to prospective students about choosing a college, and their parents, and guardians and loved ones who might be there with you, I typically refer to 2 T's. One T is transaction and the other T is transformation. And when we think about picking a college, quite often, and this is important, we spend most of our time thinking about transaction. Well, college is an investment, and it's an investment that you want to be sure that you get a return on what you're paying for. And so as it relates to transaction, from a faculty perspective at Simpson, you are going to get small class sizes. Most of the classes that you take at Simpson are going to be between 15 and 20 students, and some of the methods classes or higher upper level senior courses are probably going to be smaller than that. And that means that you are going to be taught by and mentored by and advised by faculty who typically have terminal degrees in their field and are experts in their field, and they're going to be working with you and helping you to be successful. At Simpson, you're also going to get affordability. You are going to get, as I said, personal connections with faculty and staff. And Simpson is the kind of school where faculty like myself, when we see you in the coffee shop, we're going to ask you how you're doing. We're going to be at your volleyball matches and at your choral performances and at the football games, and we're going to stop you before class starts and congratulate you on the work that you're doing outside the classroom. Simpson is not an institution where you're going to be anonymous when it comes to faculty. And that's because we want you to know that we care about you as human beings and not just as numbers in our classes. We want you to be successful, not only to get the grades and the knowledge and the experience that you need in our courses, but so that you're successful in life. Another way that Simpson is going to help you get what your money's worth, so to speak, is that we're very good at helping you graduate in 4 years. That's our goal. Our goal is not for you to come to Simpson as faculty and be on the 5-year plan immediately. That's not good for you. And frankly, we are committed to helping you navigate this college experience in 4 years. And that is something that we're committed to. And the last piece of, are you getting what you're paying for? I'm going to go back to something that I hinted at a minute ago, and that is the advising and mentorship. When it comes to faculty at Simpson College, we are going to be your advisor. And that means that we are going to sit down with you multiple times during the semester and ask you what it is that you want to do, what it is that you're interested in, what kind of passions that you have. And we're going to do our very best to help connect your passions, your interests, and your experiences with opportunities that help you to grow and to flourish and to ultimately achieve your goals. As you think about the other institutions, the other colleges and universities that you might be considering, I would challenge you to ask those folks to talk to you about what I'm talking to you about right now. Because my students, and I speak for the rest of the faculty at Simpson College, when it is time for you to graduate and go out into the world, we are going to be the ones writing the letters of recommendation for you. We are going to be the one reaching out to the folks that we know in the fields that we are experts in to do our very best to help you make those connections and to get those jobs. And if I don't know you as a person and not just as a student I see on campus, then that's going to be more difficult for me to do. And so I can assure you that faculty at Simpson are committed to knowing you, to supporting you, and ultimately helping you achieve your goals. Now, the other T that I have about 5 minutes to talk about is transformation. And I know a lot of 18, 19-year-olds, when you consider going off to college, you're probably not considering the ways that you're going to change. But the reality is that over the course of the next 4 years, parts of you and the way you think about the world are going to change, and parts of you and the way you think about the world are going to be reinforced and stay the same. And what we do at Simpson, the way our curriculum is structured and the way our faculty approach teaching, is that our goal is to help you come to know what you don't know and to know what you already know that much better. And the way that we do this is that we have a curriculum that is structured in a way that has meaningful experiences at the beginning and the end and many checkpoints along the way. And so what that means is that first-year students at Simpson take a course called Simpson Colloquium. And in the fall of 2021, let's say, if you're going to be a student at Simpson, that is going to be a 2-course sequence, the fall of your first year and the spring of your first year, where you are going to become a member of a learning community, where we are going to help you adjust to college life, learn what you need to learn about being successful at Simpson College. And we're also going to challenge you to think about the world in a way that you may not be accustomed to thinking about the world. I can't help the fact that I'm an education professor, okay? And so I'm going to refer real quickly to some learning theory that there are 2 ways to go from what you currently know and can do to what you don't know and can't do yet. And there's a social psychologist named Lev Vygotsky who wrote about this many years ago, and he says that the 2 most efficient ways for you to go from what you do know and can do to what you can't know or you don't know and can't do yet, one is through what he called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is when you're confronted with ideas, perspectives, ways of thinking and being that you're not used to. And it causes your brain to develop new connections, new ways of making sense of this new material. And really, that's a lot of what college is about from a faculty perspective. We are going to be constantly asking you some of the same questions from different perspectives. And that's one of the powerful components that make a liberal arts education what it is. And so one of the ways that we encourage this kind of transformation is that we model for you what it means to live and examine life. We want you to ask questions. We want you to question all assumptions. We want you to question your own assumptions. We want you to question our assumptions. And so we can dig into those big questions and come to new understandings. Here's a good way to think about this. If you think about our goal for you is that you will graduate from Simpson College and be able to do work in the world that is meaningful to you and meaningful to the world that we live in. And so if you think about what your passions are, maybe you know what you're passionate about, and maybe you're not quite sure what you're passionate about. One of the elements of the Simpson experience from a faculty perspective and from a staff perspective, and you'll hear Bobby talk about this in just a minute, is that we want to help you discover and uncover your passions and also reinforce the passions that you currently have. And so if you imagine what you're passionate about or what you might become passionate about, you're also going to learn about what the world needs. You're going to learn about ways that you can engage in this world, in our society, in meaningful ways to help meet the needs that the world has. And if you think about careers that you can connect your passions to, we're interested in helping you make those commitments as well. And so I'll tell you, I'm almost out of time, but my own experience as a student at Simpson mirrors the experience that my son had as a student at Simpson, which really plays a significant role in how I see my job as a faculty member at Simpson. When I was growing up, I was real close to my grandparents, and both my grandpas served in World War II, and one of my grandmas was a nurse during the Second World War, and my other grandma was an elementary teacher. And so growing up, I was very close to my grandparents, and I was really passionate about my family history. But I had no idea what you do with a passion for history and a love of your family history until I came to Simpson. And the very first class I took at Simpson, I had no idea what I was going to major in, by the way. I had a professor, his name was Joe Walt, and Joe Walt became my advisor, and he also wrote the history of Simpson College. Literally, it's called Beneath the Whispering Maples, The History of Simpson College. And I saw Dr. Joe Walt doing what I was passionate about. He was teaching history. He was making a difference in the world. And at that moment, I realized that my passion for history, that there was a career that I could connect that passion to history to. And there was a need in the world for it. And ultimately, I got a degree in history and a minor in secondary education. I taught high school history for 15 years before I went back to school to get my doctorate. And what Simpson did for me was to help me connect a passion to a need in the world, which was good social studies teachers, and with the way that I could make earn a living doing it. And it changed my life. And at that moment in time, I set a goal for myself that I was going to be a professor at Simpson College one day. And it took 20 years, but here I am. My son had a similar experience. So I'm gonna end my 10 minutes with just letting you know that from a faculty perspective, the way that we will approach teaching you and advising you and mentoring you is that our goal is to help you uncover what it is that you're passionate about, acquire the skills and the knowledge that you need to take that passion and connect it to meaningful work in the world. And we do that through the way our curriculum is structured. You have that first experience, and then we have a senior capstone that is a bookend experience that brings everything to a close. We will connect you through the help of Career Services and Bobby with meaningful field experiences, internships, exploreships, and service learning in the community that will potentially transform the way you look at the world and transform the kind of person that you are in it. So I'm thankful that you're here. I'm excited to hear your questions later on in the session, and I look forward to potentially seeing you on campus one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Next, we're going to hear from Bobby Sullivan, who's our Director of Career Development.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Students, if you have not already had the opportunity to introduce yourself in the chat box, I'm going to encourage you to do so, and not only share who you are and where you're from, but any academic or career or extracurricular interests that you have. That way us as speakers can really tailor our messages to you. So I have my chat window up and I'll keep an eye on that as I am speaking. But I'm so glad to be with you this morning. I am the Director of Career Development here at Simpson College, whereas Chad is on the academic and the faculty side of the institution. I am here on the student development side. So we really exist to support what's happening in the classroom and are going to work hand in hand with our faculty colleagues to really achieve those focus points that Chad mentioned. As you think about the blend that Dr. Tim was talking about, we really want to get to the heart of what are the things that you care about, and then blend those with what are the things that you're good at, all right? That will put us on the path that we need to get to find that ideal career. And then there's that third part of it, that what is the world needing from you? So what is happening in the job market and in the workforce, and how can we prepare you for that future? So whereas Chad had those 2 T's, I'm going to structure my talking points with 3 E's, the 3 E's of career development here at Simpson College. So upon arriving here, the first thing we want to do is we want to help you explore, okay? And so when it comes to exploring, we know it's going to be important for you to explore the majors and the minors that are available to you, as well as how those connect to the various careers that are available to you as well. So there are a few ways that we do that. So first and foremost, we can visit with you just one-on-one in our office. We have lots of conversations with our students about their own unique backgrounds, the values that they're bringing with them to college, the strengths that are unique to them as individuals, their personality types, their interests, and use those as a jumping off point to start to explore majors and minors. We then have events where we bring first-year students together to visit with academic departments about all of the possibilities available to them. We have a huge network of employer partners and alumni who are willing to let our students job shadow them or set up conversations with them to learn about the different careers that they're in. So there's that opportunity to really experience a career as a trial point before deciding that's exactly what it is that you want to do. We also teach a May-term course out of our office. So our office teaches a course just for students who are in their first or their second year who are exploring. And as I look at our student panel, I'm looking at Sam, and I know that Sam has taken that course because I was his instructor. So he may be able to weigh in on this as well. But as part of that course, students do a deep dive into that who am I question. They go out and they job shadow to really confirm their career choices or potentially change things up before they're sophomores or juniors, and then prepare that first resume, start setting goals for how they want to get to the second E of my presentation. And that second E is we want students to gain experience while they're at Simpson College. So once students have an idea of the path they're going to take and they start setting some goals for themselves, it's important that they get experience in their career fields. So that experience might come from being a leader within a related student organization on campus. That experience might come from taking a part-time job, either on campus or off campus. In relationship to my office, that experience often comes from completing an internship. So about 80% of Simpson College students will complete at least one internship prior to graduation. Many will do more than one. And those internships, they can be taken for academic credit. In fact, students at Simpson College can earn up to an entire semester of academic credit for internships prior to graduation, or they simply can be done for the experience that is so valuable in those opportunities. In addition to internships, students can get experience by doing undergraduate research, by serving in their community, by studying abroad. These are all what we would call high impact practices, opportunities to really dive into something that you care about, to really develop those talents, those things that you're good at, to determine what you want those next steps to be. We expect that students are continuing to answer and reflect on where they are going as they're here with us at Simpson College, and we really want to be as encouraging and as supportive to that exploration as we can. That picture that you are seeing on the screen, the young woman in the red dress, her name is Allie Carperk, and Allie is a recent graduate from Simpson College. The picture you are seeing is when she was interning in Washington, D.C. She was interning with a politician. And that was part of her journey to end up going to law school. So she is in law school right now in her home state of Arizona. So just one of the proud alumni that we have. And it's so exciting to see who she was at Simpson and who she has gone on and is becoming. And we want all of our students to exit successfully like that. So my third E for this morning is exit. So we help our students to explore, to experience, and then to go on and graduate and do wonderful things. So you may have read about some of our outcomes. If you haven't yet, I encourage you to check out the reports that we publish about the first destinations of our students. But as you look to our most recent graduating class from Simpson College, 98.6% of those students let us know that they were going on to the workforce, so employment. They were going on to continue their education, so graduate school, law school, medical school, going into the military to serve our country in that way, or perhaps doing service through something like the Peace Corps or AmeriCorps or things like that. If you look at the breakdown for our institution historically, it's usually between 75 and 80% that go right into the workforce. And it's usually between 15 and 20% that go on to continue their education. The percentages of students that go on to do something like military or services is usually quite small, about 1% or so each year. And if you're interested in asking me about the specifics of those students, so we track to see what it is that they're doing. So thinking about Dr. Tim's students, for example, we want to see if they came here to be teacher education students, are they able to achieve that goal? Are they going on to get related employment and employment in their field? So wanting to make sure that not only our students are employed, but with which organizations and what are their titles, or what are they going on to study in graduate school? So my office is here to help with those tasks. And as mentioned earlier, we're going to lean on a lot of people to help us with this. So just yesterday, President Kelleher and I were doing a focus group with area employers to hear about their industries and the future demands and the way Simpson College can rise up to meet those demands. And we are often calling on leaders in our area to host our students for these important experiences. One thing I can say about Simpson, I've been here for over 7 years now, is Simpson alums are excited to help Simpson current students. And so we are so grateful to tap into that network as often as we can. But with that, I want to make sure that we have time for our students to be able to share about their experiences, especially as they relate to the things that Chad and I have mentioned this morning. And we also want to make ourselves available for your personal questions as well, so we can make this visit as tailored as possible. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Bobby. And as you mentioned, next we're going to hear from a couple students. And I always think hearing from students is one of the best opportunities because they're actually going through it right now. So we're going to hear from Kaylee and Sam, and I'm going to have both of them introduce themselves and just talk about their experiences at Simpson. So I'm going to start with Kaylee. Kaylee, if you want to start. You might be on mute, Kaylee. Sam, let's start with you, and then we'll jump back to Kaylee.
No worries. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. What's going on, guys? My name is Sam Schlegel. I am going to be a senior at Simpson College this next year. I am from Longmont, Colorado, so about 10, 15 minutes north of Boulder. It's about a 10-hour drive for me usually, but hey, I'm here. So I currently study physical education. I'm going to minor in coaching and also looking to get endorsements in health education as well. I also play on the basketball team here. Kind of how I found out about Simpson. Going into my senior year, I had no idea Simpson College existed. Being from a town of almost 90,000 out in Colorado, you don't hear about Indianola, Iowa. I was thankful to be recruited by a few schools to play basketball going into my senior year, and as soon as I stepped foot on Simpson's campus, I absolutely fell in love with it. I thought the faculty members here were outstanding. I was definitely looking forward to being a part of a place where I wasn't just another number. I really fell in love with the fact that I can get involved with multiple activities here on campus. I can be a student ambassador. I can be involved in smaller class sizes here. Can actually talk to my professors and email them, I can get to know them. Bobby kind of talked about it earlier, that freshman year that I was here for my May term class. I took that career observation, and that was a tremendous class for me. Really reassured me that teaching is something that I want to go into. That first week of that class, we got to learn about our strengths and weaknesses as they apply to the work world. We got to learn about how to prepare for job interviews. We got to build our resume, which was really nice. And then for about 10 days, we got to go out and we got to job shadow 40 hours of our area of interest. And that was an incredible experience for me. I think it's a great course for everyone to take, whether you're decided on a major or whether you are still unsure about what you want to study. I think our people in career development do an awesome job here. I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to come here to Simpson. So I'm excited to answer any of your questions. I can't believe I'm saying that I'm going to be a senior. It seems like I was just in your guys' shoes, trying to decide where I'm going to spend the next 4 years of my life. So, but I'm happy I'm here. And like I said, it's great to have you guys here today.
Kaylee? I think we still have you on mute. Sam, while we're waiting for Kaylee, one question I think I get a lot from students when I'm recruiting them is, tell us a little bit about what student life is like at Simpson. What do you do for fun on the weekends, and what other opportunities are there?
Absolutely. So I think one of our campus organizations here that a lot of students know about is CAB. Everyone calls them CAB, but they're campus activities boards, and they are busy throughout the entire months of the school year, weeks of the school year, constantly putting together campus events for our students. We have trivia nights every month. We'll have musicians and comedians come and perform through us throughout the year. A couple of years ago, we had a hypnotist come here, and that was something I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. That was really entertaining. My favorite campus event here, it sounds lame, but I'm telling all of you students, it is absolutely awesome. It's bingo. About at least a third of the school goes to it. CAB goes out and buys hundreds of prizes ranging from other Simpson apparel, other snacks, dorm needs, just small things like that. And then we, at the end there, in my time, we've been here, we've given out GoPros, Apple Watches, flat screen TVs, Iowa Cubs tickets, other concert tickets. So it's just those types of activities that that we like to do a lot. On the weekends here, we'll have a lot of sporting events throughout the year. We'll have a lot of fall and spring performances in our theater, and our theater program is outstanding. I've been to a lot of those performances, and those are always really fun to go to. We also on the weekends here, if students like bring their student ID to our movie theater in our downtown Indianola here, they get $3 movies, which is really nice too. So there's plenty to do around here. But the nice thing is too is that since Simpson is really close to Des Moines, it's only about a 20-minute drive. So sometimes I like to go shopping up in the Jordan Creek area, up in West Des Moines, like to go grab something to eat too. So we have plenty of stuff to do around here on campus, and then some stuff to do in the Des Moines area as well. So
thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, I see Kaylee. Let's see if I know you had some technical difficulties. Let's see if you were able to get back on here.
Okay, are you guys able to hear me at all?
We can definitely hear you.
Okay, perfect. So sorry about that. I'm not sure what was going on. Don't you guys just love technology? But so my name is Kaylee. I'm a senior at Simpson College. I'm a math and biochemistry double major, and I'm from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. And so I missed a little bit of what Sam said just because I was trying to figure this out. But just some things about my experience. So I'm also an out-of-state student, so that was kind of a little scary for me. And I'm not sure if you guys are out-of-state, but it's not as terrifying as it seems. What's really nice about Simpson is that we have a big community. So my roommate's from Arizona. My other roommate is a couple hours in Pella, Iowa, and Iowa City. And so there's always something to do on campus. I know one thing I was really worried about was, does everybody just go home every weekend? Am I going to be sitting alone in my dorm, with nothing to do? And that's definitely not the case. There's always something to do. There's always people that you can talk to. So you never be alone on campus if you don't want to be. You can always go out and find someone, which is really nice.
Thank you, Kaylee. I think one question I get sometimes, and maybe Kaylee, you can touch on this, is high school students coming from high school, their first year, they're used to, in high school taking 5, 6, 7 classes a day. And now all of a sudden they're taking 1 or 2 a day, but they have a lot more studying. How did you go about maybe balancing your time, figuring out your time management?
So a planner is essential. I know in high school, I breezed through things. I never had a planner. My classes came easily, and when I got to college, it was a bit of an adjustment. What's really nice is those SC 101 classes. They really address it. They help you kind of figure out your schedule, how to time manage. And it's just, you get used to it. It's just, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but there's so much support all across campus that if you are struggling, somebody will step in and be like, hey, do you want some help? Or you can reach out to so many different people and just kind of figure out what works for you. So I use a planner and I kind of schedule out my day. My roommate, that does not work for her. So she'll just go and sit in the library and just get as much as she can do in 4 hours of studying as she can. So it depends on your personality type and what works for you. And that's something, especially your first semester on campus, you can kind of figure out for yourself and just know that there are people that can help you kind of figure that out.
Yeah, I'll kind of touch on that too. In the back of our library, we have academic coaches here on campus, who are also faculty members. And they are available at any time to go back there. We have free tutoring here on campus. So if you need to go back there and let them know that you need a little extra help on whatever class you may be taking, they are a great resource to go and talk to for that. They understand that they've been around students long enough where they understand that, hey, we have students transitioning from high school to college. How can we best mold them, and improve their studying skills? Because the students a lot of times come in overwhelmed on, okay, if I'm involved and, if I'm taking 4 classes, but how do I balance that with my extracurricular activities? If I have a sport to play, how do I best, figure out a time to best kind of, study, and then the best ways to be able to manage my time. They are a great resource to go back there. Helped me a ton, my freshman year, getting adjusted to college life that first semester. And I encourage any of our students to go back there and take advantage of that. So.
Yeah, and another thing is you're not the only one going through it. There's so many people in all of your classes that are trying to do the same adjustment. So reach out to your fellow students. I know my first semester I was taking a calculus class, and a group of us just got together to kind of study and do a study group, and also just to like get to know other people in the class. So it's also important, you're not just an island by yourself. There's so many different people that you can reach out to. There's such a community, and you're not the only person going through it.
Thank you, Sam and Kaylee. And I know both students are going to stick with us here for the end of this presentation. So feel free, as was mentioned before, if you have questions for either the students or Bobby or Professor Tim, make sure you put those in the chat. I'm going to talk a little bit about admissions. I know we had a question from Jeff, who has some questions regarding majors and tuition, scholarships. So hopefully I'll be able to answer some of these. As you can see, we do have over 80 majors and minors and professional programs here at Simpson. So we have a lot of opportunity for students coming in. And I would say close to half of our students, their first year, come in still kind of undecided on what they want to major. I know that was my case. And the one thing that I enjoyed about Simpson especially was that first year, year and a half, I was able to not only take courses in different areas, but I was also able to take advantage of some of our internship opportunities or hands-on experiences that Bobby talked about earlier. We do have an excellent internship program. Something that I think definitely helps students in that way is our location. Being only 12 miles south of Des Moines is a great opportunity for our students when it comes to job opportunities and hands-on experience. We're a small liberal arts school. We have 1,200 full-time students, undergraduate students. So typical 12-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. Our students are typically in classes of 15, 20, 25 students. So you do get to know your professors on a first-name basis, on a one-on-one basis. That was something I enjoyed when I had questions outside the classroom. I could go and knock on a professor's door, and they were available. They were available to me. They knew who I was. So when I had a question about a class or about a test coming up or maybe about something we discussed in the classroom earlier that day, it was someone I could go to. But something else that helped me knowing my professors was I did 3 different internships while at Simpson, and 2 of those, my professors actually were very instrumental in helping set those up because they knew me as a person. So that was a great opportunity. Something else that we strive for at Simpson is obviously we hope to try to make it affordable for families that are looking at Simpson. We know money is a big concern for families, and it's always something that plays into a student's college search. Currently, 100% of our full-time students are receiving financial aid from Simpson. That can be whether it be merit-based, need-based scholarships. We base a lot of our scholarships on their academics. We look at, in fact, on our website, we have a chart that lists, this grade point average, here's what you come in for. Right now, our tuition, room and board altogether is $51,528. Obviously, that could be a sticker shock for families. That can be eye-opening. But I always tell families, no one pays anywhere close to that price, that sticker price. We definitely are able to give a lot of great scholarships and grants out to students to really reduce that cost. So I encourage families, as you're going through this process, to make sure you go through the whole process and get your financial aid packages from all the schools that you're looking at before you start eliminating any schools, before you start making those decisions. Because we do want to work with you and hopefully make it affordable. So at the end of the day, when you're making a choice on a college, money doesn't have to be the main deciding factor. One thing I would encourage all of you to do right now as you're going through that process is taking advantage of setting up either an individual virtual visit. We are doing those all this fall, or even an on-campus visit. It gives you an opportunity to talk with your admissions counselor, a faculty member. If you're interested in athletics, sit down with a coach or someone in the music or theater department. You also have an opportunity to get a tour from a student, and that's a great way to really learn more about the college, just to see the campus. We have a beautiful campus, and I think sometimes making a college decision many times comes down to just walking on the campus and figuring out where you feel the most comfortable. And that's one way I, chose Simpson. You can find all the details about setting up an individual visit or a campus visit on our website. Another thing to think about for those of you going into your senior year, now is a great time to start applying to college. At Simpson, we have no application fee. It literally takes about 15-20 minutes online. We have two different options. You can apply the traditional way. So once you complete your application, you would have your high school transcripts and your ACT or SAT test score sent to us. And I encourage all students to take the ACT more than once. One thing we do at Simpson is we do super score. So if you take the ACT multiple times, we will take the best score, best sub-score of each area. So your best math, science, English, or reading score. We also have a test optional path to apply. So possibly you don't feel that your test scores accurately reflect the type of student you are. If you have over a 3.0 grade point average, you can definitely apply test optional. Our admissions committee will definitely take a look more at what type of courses you've taken, your curriculum, how you've done in those courses. I always encourage students to feel free when you apply to colleges, have letters of recommendation, whether it be from your favorite teachers, maybe from your guidance counselors. Have those sent out to us, because that's only going to help you in the admissions process. And the more information we have, the better we can evaluate your application. I would also encourage all of you to check out our events calendar on our website. We have several events during the fall. We have some virtual events that will be coming up. As you can see, some regional ones that we have, but in September, we're going to start an Explore Academics series where you'll be hearing from all of our different academic departments. So watch for those. I think those will be a great opportunity, especially if there's certain academic areas you're most interested in, just to learn more about them, but find out where students have gone on to work, where they've gone on to intern, graduate schools that they've chosen. But we will have some other visit opportunities throughout the fall. So definitely check our calendar as you go along. Also, I would encourage all of you to stay connected with us, whether it be through our Facebook, our Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. That's the best way to find all the up-to-date information about Simpson. Using that hashtag #OneSimpson is a great way to learn more about us and just to follow us throughout your college search. As we're wrapping up here, Mark, do you know if we had any other questions in the chat box?
We do not. It doesn't look like it. I'm going to actually post a link in the chat box to be able to find your admission counselor. So if you were to think of any questions between, after this presentation, you can reach out to your admission counselor directly by following this link.
Excellent. And I think, that's a great point there. All of our admissions counselors will work closely with the students they're working with throughout the year. So never hesitate to contact us, call or email us. We want to make sure we get all your questions answered. Hopefully you can all make it to campus to meet your admissions counselor this fall. I think we're going to wrap it up here, but if other questions come up, as Mark said, definitely reach out to us so we can get those answered. But I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and I want to thank Bobby and Professor Tim, Kaylee and Sam for joining us, and let us know if anything comes up throughout your college search. Thank you.